At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion as we build up to the Men's T20 World Cup, which gets underway on the 7th of February in India and Sri Lanka. To get you in the mood for the action, my guest is Stuart Law, former Australian international and now head coach of Nepal, who have qualified for this year's tournament. Stuart discusses the state of cricket in Nepal, a busy and successful 2025 for the national side, and their desire to cause an upset at the Men's T20 World Cup. Hello, Stuart in Kathmandu. Welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion.
Steve, thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure.
Well, many thanks for agreeing to talk about cricket in Nepal and the T20 World Cup. Now, you have coached all around the world, the Caribbean, USA, the subcontinent, Australia. Why Nepal?
Yeah, look, sometimes, the calling is not exactly the plan that you've set out. But, I was lucky enough to, when I was coaching the USA, we had a series against Nepal in Dallas. And, having watched Nepalese cricket grow from, the very beginning to where it is now, I saw them play against the USA and they were outstanding. So, when the opportunity became available, I was prompted by another associate coach, Pierre de Bruin, who used to coach. He was a coach at Leicester, but is also the head coach in Namibia, and he got me in for a consultancy, and he encouraged me to put my name in the hat, and here I am. It's a pleasure to work with guys who, actually, they really care about where they're going. They care about their country, and they're really, really professional for the associate level. So it was a good fit for me.
Only a short time in the role. I think you started last March. How does it compare to the other roles?
Yeah, look, it's, as I say, you got the only players that play for Nepal are Nepalese. So they've got that one, mentality to fight hard for the country, fight hard for their people. And look, it doesn't differ too much cricket-wise, but the support level, the fan base is ridiculous. They are so passionate about their sport, borderline crazy. And some of the away series we've had more people in the crowd than the local crowd. So the support that these players get is unbelievable. And the way that these guys go about their preparation, their care factor, and on how they perform and what they want to achieve, is second to none. So I'm very, very pleased. It's a pleasure to be the head coach of these boys.
Because population-wise, I looked up 30 million.
Yeah, not big for a subcontinental country, but I think in recent times, the cricket has taken over the football here. Football used to be the number one sport, but now recently, with the success that these boys have had, and with the advent of the NPL, the local T20 franchise tournament, the popularity of the sport has grown such that it's overtaken football now in this country, and to be a part of it has been something special to witness firsthand in this country. It's great. So, I mean, only 30 million, but they're represented very well.
And you're ranked 17 in ODIs and 17 in T20s, and the women ranked 21 in the T20s. You've played in the World Cup. This is the men in 2014 and 2024, and in that 2024 World Cup where you were coaching the USA, they came very close to beating South Africa.
They came close to beating South Africa, and they still talk about it to this day, the players, and they do say they should have won that game, but also they came close to beating Bangladesh as well. So, they do have that burning ambition. I mean, we're about to embark on another World Cup coming up, and that they have desire and the ambition to actually beat a top ranked nation. We were lucky enough to play the West Indies prior to our World Cup qualifiers in September last year, earlier this year, last year, September last year, and we went out and we held a 2-0 lead against the West Indies in a 3-match series. So, that gave them great confidence that they can beat, a full member nation. So their desire is to cause an upset or two, and I think they're realistic in their ambition. And I don't think that we've much chance of lifting the trophy at this point in time. But to cause an upset or two, there's no reason why we can't do that.
Just going back on that South African game, I wanted to remind listeners that when we say they came close, they lost to South Africa by 1 run.
Yeah.
So that's close, isn't it?
I think the boys ribbed one of the batters got run out, and I think they still give him a hard time about it. They make fun of him, but all in good jest. But yeah, they came so close. To beat South Africa, who ended up being finalists, and probably should have won the final if you're being honest. They had an opportunity to win that final, so to potentially nearly beat one of the finalists is a great achievement.
What are the facilities like in Nepal? Are they improving?
They are, yeah. The main ground is a university ground, but up until this year, or the recent conclusion of the NPL, it was just a cricket ground with grass banks all the way around it. And people, you'd often see a full house, 15,000 people there, but people hanging out of trees watching the game as well, any vantage point they could possibly get. Now they've got the luxury of, one layer, one area. There's grandstands now, seating available. It's slowly but surely turning into a stadium, and it's gone from strength to strength. The next on the agenda is to try and develop a few grounds in Kathmandu, in other various remote areas of the country where they do have an interesting cricket. Obviously, there's a ground in Lumbini, Extra Tech or Ultra Tech Oval. It's a private venture. We've just had a practice camp out there. The facilities are second to none. They're really good. The building's still taking place, but the cricket ground is superb. It's got lights in as well, so they have the infrastructure there. Just a little bit of polish required to get that up to standard. So it is coming, and these things don't take 5 minutes. They take a long time and a lot of funding to get off the ground. But the way the cricket has moved forward, and the ICC are really impressed with the way that the NPL is run, and they're impressed with the way the national team is tracking. Funding and help along those ways shouldn't be too far away.
And the NPL, that's important that the ICC are impressed that it's run well, because you hear some T20 leagues where that isn't happening. You've got some overseas players playing in that as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. At this point in time, because it's only new to the cricket landscape, we're not quite getting the international players of test teams and the first ranked players, but we're getting high quality players coming in who have been no stranger to franchise cricket in other parts of the world, but also very well performed players in county cricket, Australian domestic cricket, etc. New Zealand, all around the world. We've got the Namibians. So, mate, it's been great, and I think we've got to be really careful who we attract to come and play in this league, because you just don't want them coming in to play for the check. You want them to come in and help develop the players around them. And I think the overseas players they had come in this year were high quality, good people on the field, but also off the field, and helping them, the local players, a great deal. And that's how we're going to build our playing depth, and the more players that we get playing over here and sharing their experiences and training methods, thought processes, that's the only way we're going to improve.
And are more and more boys and girls playing cricket in the schools?
Yeah, it is that they're looking at probably going into like in the UK and Australia, they're looking at tapping into the private schools here and making cricket a big part of their upbringing to promote more of a grassroots depth, etc. But the girls team, they're about to embark on World Cup qualifiers here in Nepal. They get underway on Sunday. They've been attracting great publicity here in Nepal, and just being in the same hotel as them and catching them in the corridor. They're very keen and very they can't wait. They can't wait to get started. But you know what, the young girls that we see around the country on the street playing, bat and ball games, the young boys, they're very keen to improve, and it's on the up. It's definitely a sport that's on the rise now, and we hopefully that out of the 30 million, we get a pretty good pool of depth that we can choose, for years to come.
On the women's side, though, that's a big thing for Nepal to be hosting the global qualifiers for the women's T20 World Cup held in England in June, July.
Yeah, 100%. And there's 10 teams, 12 teams here at the moment.
10, I think. Yeah, there's four
Yeah,
qualifiers. Yeah.
yeah, five in our hotel, five in a hotel down the road, and you see them. You see the European teams here. You got Netherlands here, and you got Scotland here. They're big girls, and compared to the local Nepalese people, Nepalese aren't. They're not the tallest people in the world, put it that way, and but they one thing they have got it. They got fight and they got determination. So our girls they're ready. They're keen. Spoke to the captain this morning. She's very happy with the preparation, and they can't wait to get going. So it's a great opportunity for them to show their skills on a world stage. And fingers crossed they get the job done and they qualify in the right position to go and represent Nepal in the World Cup in the UK. That'd be awesome.
And for Nepal to be hosting this event as well.
Yeah, look, can do an amazing job. There's not many people who in operational who work to put these things on. They spread themselves very thin, but somehow they seem to get the job done. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of phone calls, a lot of toing and froing, but the way they get it done is amazing. To put these tournament on to the NPL was it's raved about by the overseas players who come in. So it's very well organised, very well run, and that's down to Cairn. So Cairn are doing a great job. The bigger they get, the probably the more personnel they'll need to help pull these events off. But so far it's great for Nepal, and the publicity worldwide it opens up plenty of opportunities for people to come here to Nepal. And here you're not far away from the Himalayas. It's a backdrop of most cricket grounds here in the country, and it's our own little Dharamshala, which is voted probably the most picturesque ground in the world. One of them anyway. And I just said, if you're building a cricket ground, you've got to have that in the background. You've got to have the Himalayas somewhere.
Well, what you'd hope is when teams do tour the subcontinent, they could, as such, drop into Nepal on the way and play a match.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the plan. That was the plan for USA as well. To teams going to the West Indies, drop in and play the USA national team on the way to the West Indies. No different to here. I'm sure that teams going into the subcontinent, if they wanted to come here and do their training camp here, play games against the national team, we won't be saying no to that. That's for sure. That'd be an awesome experience for our players, whether it be the men or the women. To get experience here in subcontinental conditions. So brilliant, high altitude. So very good for the lung capacity when you get back down to ground level.
Now, you had a very busy 2025. You mentioned that you beat the West Indies. You also went to Scotland and played in a tri-series with the Netherlands.
Yeah, we did. That was my first role in charge of the Nepalese team, and my God, we worked out a strategy, worked out a way to play, and when the boys really stuck to it and put those plans in place, we were a handful. And just to watch them go about their cricket in foreign conditions, to come away from the 50 over leg of that, only losing one game, then to go into the T20s in Glasgow, and unfortunately we didn't win the games we should have won, but I think it was two wins, two losses, but one of those losses was
Super over.
three super overs, which was in my time. I don't want any more super overs.
Oh, that was the
They were
game when they had three super overs, was it? Yeah.
three super
Oh, I
overs in
do
the one
remember a
day.
game like that. Yeah.
Unbelievable it was. Unfortunately, we came out on the wrong side, but yeah, I don't want to go through any more super overs. I've had too many in my time as a head coach, and no, it was great. It was good for our development, and playing in conditions that we weren't used to, and very foreign. But the boys showed that they can adapt really well, and they can play the game of cricket once they get used to those conditions. And we played in the way we played in Dundee, particularly in the 50 overs, was very good on a hybrid wicket, which had more pace and bounce than what we see here in Nepal. Then you get to Glasgow, and every pitch was different. Some started a little bit damp, so it was a bit difficult to bat on. But as they dried out, they became very good, and we gave a good account of ourselves. So it was great fun, and to watch the boys play the way that we set them up to play, and they went out and executed very well, and it brought them great success.
Great contrast for the players. And what do they think to the weather in Scotland?
We're actually pretty lucky. It wasn't that cold. There was a couple of days where the wind was probably making it more cool than it was, but the sun was out most of the time, so it wasn't. They were blessed. Now I poisoned them with their the English summer or the British summer. Don't get too carried away. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet, and most of the days were quite sunny. There's only a few where it rained and got really cold, but they thought I was pulling their leg.
You also qualified for this T20 World Cup in the East Asia Pacific group, where you were undefeated, beating Kuwait, Japan, the UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Samoa. UAE only by one run.
Yeah, no, we've got a habit of the one run result. Pretty glad we came out on the right side. I've been involved. I took the West Indies to a World Cup qualifier for the 2019 50 over World Cup. We went to Zimbabwe for a qualifier, and it turned out the the associate teams who go to these qualifiers, mate, the mainstream teams, they don't understand the brutality of the competition itself. And it got to a stage where if any team who was in the top half of the group, so you won your first couple of games, and after two games, if you lose one game, you're out. And that's what it would come down to. And that's what the main teams don't understand. How difficult it is to actually qualify. And these associate teams, every time they go to these qualifications, it can be just one slip up and you're toast. So when we got to Oman, we got there full of confidence, and the toughest game that we thought we would have would be the first one against Kuwait. They'd had a pretty reasonable series leading into the World Cup qualifiers as well, and we played on a pitch that was not conducive to free flowing cricket. You had to work hard for it, and we managed to get a decent total on the board, and we stopped them. And as you say, UAE, we just managed. We took a wicket, I think the last ball. We defended nine, I think, in the last over with an off spinner bowling to a right hander, and Dipendra Singh RE came up with the goods. So, mate, yeah, that was a bit close for comfort, but the rest of the games we found a way, and we managed to get enough runs on the board, and with our spin, and we got some decent pace bowlers as well, but our spin is our trump card, and Sandeep Machani, Lalit Rajbanshi, and Dipendra Singh RE, they got the job done.
Is cricket again improving in those areas? You're seeing that all the time in associate level.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, and look, some teams struggle to develop their own players, and they get the players from other countries to come in and help out. And you know what? That's the way the cricket landscape's working now. There's a real cross-pollination of, overseas talents coming in to help countries, provide, cricket and progress cricket in that country. As long as the development isn't overlooked in those countries. And it shouldn't be too difficult in places like the UAE. There's academies set up in, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, even in Oman, etc. There's academies set up. So the local cricket should come through. It's just a matter of creating that interest out there. And the only way really that they create interest in those areas is through success. And UAE's had success, and they now got the ILT20, where a lot of their players are involved. They have to pick associate team members, and a UAE player has to be a part of it. So that's a way of developing their talent. It's a slow process, but I think in years to come we're going to start seeing teams like Qatar get better. Saudi Arabia is making a big push to get involved in cricket. And with that, if they've got the backing and support financially, anything is possible.
It's okay not to be perfect with finances. Experian is your big financial friend and here to help. Did you know you can get matched with credit cards on the app? Some cards are labeled no ding decline, which means if you're not approved, they won't hurt your credit scores. Download the Experian app for free today. Applying for no ding decline cards won't hurt your credit scores if you aren't initially approved. Initial approval will result in a hard inquiry, which may impact your credit scores.
Experian.
Turning then to the T20 World Cup, which begins on the 7th of February. You're in a group with England, Italy, Bangladesh and the West Indies, and your first game on the 8th of February is against England.
Yeah.
You must be looking forward to that one.
Oh, mate, I look forward to every game. I know our players are looking forward to it because it's the first opportunity they've really had to play, a team like England as well. First time they're playing England. We're looking forward to it. We're lucky enough. We're based at this stage. We're playing all our games in Mumbai at the Wankhede Stadium. I think the jury's out at this stage what's happening with Bangladesh regarding if we're playing them in Mumbai or in Colombo, or we've got another team to play against. We don't know yet. But mate, look, that game on the 8th, that'll be one hell of an occasion. And what I'm looking forward to is the Barmy Army will be supporting England in the crowds, but I think the Nepalese fans will out sing them, out noise them anyway, and it should be more like a local game for us. And we know in World Cups, particularly in India, they do love an underdog unless they're playing against India. So I'm hoping that we get plenty of support there. But what an opportunity for us to lock horns with some of the best players in the world playing against two-time T20 World Cup champions. It's a great opportunity for us to go out and show the world what we're made of.
But from your experience with the USA, you beat Pakistan in the last World Cup. That group gives you some opportunity. You beat the West Indies only last year, so you can't go into the group without hope of causing some shocks.
Well, and that's our plan. I hear a lot of people who there's a lot of media over here, social media, saying that we should qualify. And that's our dream to get through to the Super 8s. But I think we've got to be realistic in our expectations as well. Everyone wants to qualify, not just us. What we need to do is worry about our steps to building that, our progress through the ranks, through the teams. We've got to worry about how we're going to go turn up to the game ready to play the game of cricket, understand the opposition, understand the game we want to play, and then it's about hopefully making the opposition, create a few opportunities for us, to grab hold of, and we've got to be big enough and confident enough to grab hold of those opportunities to wrestle the advantage away. And look, we're not going to just turn up and win. We've got to play at our best every moment of each game, and to do that's going to take something. It's going to take something pretty special, but you never know. T20 cricket is a funny game. The best team on paper doesn't necessarily always win. And, we've just got to be good enough and ready to grab hold of those opportunities. And, anything is possible.
Do you think the wickets could suit the Nepalese team?
One caddy, maybe not as much as other parts of the subcontinent, but I think the time of the day that we play may suit us a bit better. We've got 2 3 o'clock starts and 1 11 o'clock start, so we're hoping that there may be a little something on the pitch. The nighttime games, when it cools down a bit, they seem to be the ones that really fly onto the bats, and there's nothing really in the wicket. But if there's a little something there to help us with the bowling attack we have, and make it a little more conducive for batting, I think that we can really play the game that we want to play.
Well, hopefully it's not going to be a World Cup where the toss makes too much of a difference, which it did in one of the other T20 World Cups, where you always wanted to I think, chase, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the trend. That's the trend in the subcontinent. I learned this from Murali Dhuran when I was assistant coach of Sri Lanka. I always ask, why do we win the toss and bowl first when it's 40 degrees in India and we bat at night? As an Australian, we win the toss and we bat first no matter what. And he explained it to me: when the sun's out, the pitch opens. It opens up, so the ball grips more on the surface. So there's more in it for the spinners. The ball stops on the pitch for the batters. It's difficult to get your timing, etc. And then at night time it closes up because it cools down and there's less spin and the ball skids on. So we didn't think about that as Australians. We just thought, don't bowl in the heat, bowl at night when it's cooler, and we're able to play our game. But it made perfect sense. So I'm hoping that that rings true for us. I'm banking on Murali's insight comes to help us out.
Well, he should have some good insight with over 800 Test wickets, shouldn't he?
You'd think so. You'd think know what he's talking about, yeah.
So, not the right word, but have you got some warm-up games as well before?
We have, mate. Yeah, we go to Sri Lanka on Sunday, and we're playing 3 matches in Colombo against Sri Lanka A. This has only just really transpired in the last 3 weeks, so that's good for us. If Bangladesh are playing all their games in Sri Lanka, it'll give us an opportunity to play a game in Sri Lanka as well. And then we move to Mumbai for a week's training camp in Mumbai, where we do some work again on red clay, which is what Wankhede is. We've got 2 matches there against Mumbai Cricket Association 11, who people are saying that they'll be no good. The Mumbai Cricket Association has got 1 million players who are probably good enough to play for India in any format. So the teams they put out will be high quality. So it'll be good for us. And it's not about winning or losing those games. It's about getting used to the conditions we're going to be playing in. And then we move into the World Cup period, which is the 1st of February, and we fly to Chennai and we play a game on the 3rd and the 5th. I'm not sure who we're playing against just yet in those, but they're the 2 official warm-up matches. And we fly back on later the 5th or the 6th and begin on the 8th. So really looking forward to the next 3 weeks. It should be good fun.
Well, you should be well prepared. For listeners, any players that we should look out for?
Oh yeah, look, we've Sandeep Lemachani is well known around the world for his his leg spin, but he's also he's a big game player. So we're looking for him to stand up in those big games. Dipendra Singh Ari has been ranked highly in the ICC player rankings in 50 over cricket and T20 cricket as an all-rounder. He's got power. He's only a little fellow. He's fast between the wickets. He's only little, but in stature, but he's big on power. So he's one to look out for. I think there's going to be something special from one of our first timers. First time he's played in a World Cup, but I think first time he's played in the national team as well. Sher Muller. He provides a bit of mystery spin. So there's a couple there. I don't like naming singular players. All our players can make an impact, and they have done in the past. There's high quality in our lineup. We just need the right mental approach and the right mind frame, and any one of our boys can turn it on on any given day.
Turning to the future, Stuart, you've got a 2-year contract with Nepal. What's the after the World Cup? Is it then to qualify for the 50 over World Cup?
Yeah, we've got a big fight in our hands with the 50 over CWC League Two fixtures coming up. We've got a number of fixtures to play, 16, I think, and it's really important that we start finding a way to win, because if we don't finish in a certain level, we run the risk of losing our ICC funding, which would be a massive blow to Nepalese cricket, particularly after what we've achieved in the last 2 years, 12 months. So look, it's very important. So we go straight into a tri-series here in March, and then we've got games in May. July we go to the Netherlands. We're back here in September, and it's sprinkled all over the place. But we've got plenty of cricket coming up. This is going to sound weird, but the World Cup's probably not the most important cricket we're going to be playing in this year, even though it's very important. It's not the most important. So we've got to keep one eye on developing our 50 over team as well, and keeping players moving, so that when they come around, they're ready to go in that format. So plenty of cricket to play, and it's a pretty heavy schedule towards the end of the year. So yeah, I've got 2 years, signed in April last year, coming up to 1 year, and I've really enjoyed what we've achieved here, and I'm looking forward to finding a combination that works in the 50 over cricket as well, to start winning games, to get us out of the cellar, to get us up somewhere near the top. And if we finish in the top 4, I think it's direct. We go directly into World Cup qualifications for the 27 Cricket World Cup, and that'd be ideal. If we don't finish in the top 4, I think if we finish, as long as we don't finish bottom, I think we've got to qualify to go to the qualifiers, which just adds more cricket. But it's not a bad thing either. If we've got to go through that process, it'll make us more battle hardened and give more exposure to more players, which is great for the depth of Nepalese cricket.
Because for the 50 over World Cup, there's only 12 teams in that, so it's a lot harder to get into that competition, isn't it?
It is, and that's a shame. But the ICC made their rules, and they put forward their ideas, and it's less and less a world game. It's you've got to be very, very good to play in it, and I get that. That's a World Cup. That's what a World Cup should be. Best teams playing against the best, and that's why it's such a brilliant tournament.
Well, thank you very much for talking about cricket in Nepal. The very best of luck in the T20 World Cup. Not so much luck on the 8th of February, but best of luck in the other games.
Thanks, mate.
There's nothing like being in the stands cheering on your favorite team. Game Time is your hack to unlocking amazing tickets in just a few taps. Plus, their Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets at the best price. Fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. Get the best deals on sports tickets. Download the Game Time app and create an account to start searching for tickets to upcoming games and events. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time.